picking the right club. Be the right club today.
Yes! Johnny, that's better than most.
How about in?
That is better than most. Better than most!
Expect anything different?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast, the No Laying Up live show, the out of context No Laying Up social media clip. Wherever you're consuming this content today, we had a glorious first day at the Open Championship. My name is DJ Pyhowski, joined by my compadres Tron and Randy. Solly is he's standing by with the beeper. You know, we didn't know if we were going to have him. He's on baby watch at the moment, so he was planning to take this week off. We might tap him in every now and again, but for right now, we've got the two chuckleheads that we've got. Tron, we're gonna make you wait. We're gonna get to you in just a second. Randy, how are you, my man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on your program. I'm a big fan. It's a thrill to be here.
Tron, there is one thing everybody wants to talk about today, and that is the High Noon Pool Pack. We are brought to you, as always, by our friends at High Noon. The moment everyone has been waiting for is finally here. The High Noon Pool Pack is back. Grab a case, text the group. Randy, fire up the group chat. Get the boys ready to have some High Noons. We've got what? Lime, guava, kiwi, and peach. Did I get all those off of memory? I think I might have, Tron.
There's
I think
a
you did.
passion fruit. Yeah, I always get sun sips and pool.
I'm going in the pool after this, so I've got a lemon here.
I like that.
I don't know. A lot of people haven't had lemon. Lemon is delightful.
Oh, lemon whips. I've got. I do. You know, in the pool pack, I always reach for the kiwi first, so that's what I'm doing. As always, the High Noon Pool Pack is made with real vodka, real juice, has 100 calories, is gluten-free, no added sugar. Look for it on Drizzly or wherever you buy your High Noon. Visit highnoonspirits.com to find it near you. TC, go ahead, my man. It's all you.
No, I do you guys have anything to say?
Go ahead, Panda. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I think we're gonna learn
Go
a lot. We're gonna learn a lot. Are you rooting for something or are you rooting against us in this moment? You know,
No, I'm rooting for something.
Then
Positive.
the floor is yours. The floor is
yours.
yours.
We got so much. We got so much to celebrate, guys. We have so much to celebrate. Ben, producer Ben, will you put the Justin Ray stat up there from the Twitter machine? I think Tommy. Everybody says, "Oh, Tommy's bad on Sundays. Tommy's bad on Saturdays." No, Tommy's been bad on Thursdays. All right, we got out of our own way today. Anything under 71 was going to be a win today, and we shot 66. All right, and he was extremely conservative off the tee, which I think was the right play. Flushed his irons, putter looked good.
Made an unbelievable amount of putts.
Just super solid. He's on the right side of the draw. He's, I listen. What do you guys have to say about Tommy? I want to see you guys be positive stewards of the game here. I'm holding the Fleetwood Festival this weekend. If anybody would like to purchase tickets,
we're going to talk about that in a second. I'm very curious about your weekend plans. But before we do, let me just kind of set the table here. Let's give everybody their due. Of course, this is not to infringe on the down the leaderboard segment, which usually starts about like T36. This is just the guys at the top. So we have amateur Christo Lamprecht. Georgia Tech by way of South Africa. What a story. Here at TC at the home of the British Amateur. We've got the British Amateur champion. What a story. 66 for him. Emiliano Grillo, 66. Antoine Rosner. TC, you're calling him Big Twan. Is that right?
Big Twan.
Big Twan with a 67. Adrian Atogwe. Brian Harmon, 67. Stu Sink, Unfinished Business, T7. Wyndham Clark, T7. Alex Norman, T7. The Pro Mac Homa, T7. And Shabankar Sharma, T7. No, I'm going to stop there. Those are just courtesy mentions, top of the show, in case we forget anybody. Now we've mentioned them. Randy, what's your story of the day today?
There's a slender man out front, a slender man amateur, and he's not Stuart Hagestad. It's an incredible story. My mentions have just been getting bombarded with people thinking that's me. I can see.
God, that's so good. Who looks more like you? Is it Christo or is it Brad Merrick that was at the PGA a couple years ago?
The Christo swing, his leg action here, that right knee, tough to. God, that looks great.
How
I've
good
always,
is that? The fact that it's a Lynx swing from you.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
I know. I've always been really self-conscious about seeing my swing because I mean, again, just look at that lower body. But my guy Christo out there just making me feel seen and just going a long way to raise my self-confidence. So
Representation
Christo.
matters out there.
Yes, exactly.
TC, I'm gonna go story of the day. You asked me to say some positive things. I had
Yeah.
such a blast watching Tommy today.
Thank you. That
Mr.
means a lot.
Ladd was just doing all the things that we hoped that he would. And not only that, but we've talked about this a bunch when, it's not only are you trying to peak for a major, but you're trying to peak for a major, kind of in your neck of the woods. Everybody's telling you should play well. Everybody's asking you about it. Shows up on the first day and takes the first round lead. I've never been happier. If he goes on to win, I just like happily stuff me in the locker. I'm rooting for it. Randy, what do you got?
Is it possible he played too well today, TC? And I don't mean to be a downer, but I think it's a question that deserves asking.
I think if we were talking about a 3-shot lead going into Saturday or a 3-shot lead going into Sunday, I would maybe have some concerns, but it's not like he's well out in front. He had a good round. I know he's got a long layoff until his afternoon round because I got a long layoff. What am I going to do?
That's what
the
people are
rest of
asking.
today into tomorrow morning. It's a lot there. But no, it didn't feel like smoke and mirrors either. He just played solid golf. He's hitting his irons well. He's doing what Tommy Fleetwood does well. I thought I was a little bit worried he was going to 3-putt that on 18. That would have been very, very concerning. But no, I don't know. It's like he never gets off to a great start in these things, and he's there now. So it's I don't know. I'm just over the moon. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to bring other people aboard, share the good news. Hark.
I'll say what a fun first day storyline. Truly. The next 3 days are going to be so much fun for one reason or another. And
yeah,
for that, I'm very thankful for Tommy Ladd. What a day. Good on him. 66.
Justin Ray.
Hell of a round.
Justin Ray tweeted round one. So Tommy opens with 66, the lowest opening round of his major championship career. Entering today, since 2021, Fleetwood scored a par in majors by round. Round 1, plus 15. Round 2, plus 5. Round 3, minus 5. Round 4, minus 5.
So there you have it.
And with all the pressure that was on him here, and everybody was lifting him up out there today. I can't wait to talk to our guest, to talk to him about how people were treating him out there, the buzz that was going on around there. He's a conquering hero, man. He's the best. I am so excited for the next 3 days. Win, lose, draw, whatever. I just got to figure out how I'm going to celebrate this best, because the process is a celebration, not just the result, the process.
Is this a coronation? I don't know if you guys are familiar with the cliche. It's one of my favorites, and it's not mentioned very often. But
a lot of people attribute this to you, originally saying this.
Exactly. And I can't remember if I was the first person to say this or not, but as it goes, you can't win on Thursday, but you can lose on Thursday. And TC, it almost sounds like we're ready to crown him. Are we crowning Tommy Ladd?
You're going to crown him.
We got people in the comments saying this is worse than TC's Cam Smith dunk fest last year. Well, breaking news, Cam Smith won the Open Championship last year.
People forget that.
And, it's the Open Championship, just like it's the amateur. It's not the British amateur, it's the amateur. And Tommy, listen, Randy, to your point, you can lose on Thursday. And Tommy's done that way too many times. You can also set up the backdoor top 5 on a Thursday. Put yourself far enough back where you can't really win, but you can set that up. And he is leaning into it. 66, majestic.
I think one thing, if we can, just get just a hair meta for a second for anybody listening at home saying, how does this Tommy round, how does this affect me? How does this affect my life? Massive W for just, throwing sand in your opponent's eyes, right? And just see what happens. Like, I can't tell you how much more I was feeling today out of that 66 just because of the last 2 years of doing this podcast. So I think, TC, as you know, have a take, don't suck, get in there, put your name behind something, and days like this just get so much more
People
fun.
know what I believe in.
I believe in
Tommy.
Noah and Randy believe in.
Nobody knows what Solly believes in except for the data. Solly believes in data. We don't know what else he believes in, But
All
people know that I've been on the Tommy block through thick and thin, through you guys. Just
there hasn't been much thick. I
me.
think that's our whole thing.
Yeah,
we're looking for some thickness.
Did you forget about that 63?
It's just a little bit. Yeah, he's Mr. 63. 2 63s in the final round. U.S. Opens.
All right. Well, speaking of takes, let's bring in our first guest. I think we might have a little rotating phone booth action. But I mentioned Max Homa was T7 out there. We had boots on the ground. We had some FootJoy boots on the ground specifically, I believe. Neil is out on site at Hoylake, Royal Liverpool, and doing some FootJoy stuff this week. What was, Neil, first of all, greetings. And second of all, just what was the vibe today? What did you see?
Greetings, gentlemen. It's always good to be with you. I'm got to keep my voice down. I don't want to upset the chaps here in the media center. Minding my P's and Q's. TC, congrats. Randy, you're talking about a coronation. I think it's more a potential graduation from lad to bloke. Can Tommy make the jump? Fans were rabid for Tommy Ladd, but can he become Tommy Bloke? I think is what we're trying to find out. And Randy, congrats to you with Christo. I know he's a bit of a role model.
Yes.
It's cool to see a guy like that move it.
It's fun, Neil, if I may, it's fun to see kind of this generation of golfers who've grown up watching me play on YouTube. And now they are coming to an age where they're starting to be factors in the biggest tournaments in the world. That's fun.
I did see Christo play 17. He is a unit. I can confirm. Extremely tall, very noticeable. But no, the highlight of my day, Randy, you know this. We love to pick a group, especially one that, might not be the marquee matchup, and go spend some time with them, walk the course, try to embed with them. And so I've not seen Max play in a long time in person, and he's had some struggles in majors, so I wanted to see it for myself. Are we pressing? Are we too loose? Are we too tight? And I felt like he and Joe just had the magic today. It was a lot of fun to watch. I would say it was the definition of a comfy pairing. I think Colin mentioned something about, how he was looking forward to playing with Tyrrell and Max in his press conference. And I would say that was candid feedback because they were just yucking it up, especially early in the back nine. So it felt like the vibes, so they're playing behind Rory and Rahm, and, they're sucking up all the oxygen. And so it was like the clouds parting as we're coming through, especially that stretch of 10 through 13, just fantastic setting out on the water. So I had an ideal jaunt through the dunes.
Neil, you look so paranoid.
You look like one of those ASMR Instagram guys.
Listen, there's a lot going on around me, so I don't want to be rude to
Neil looks like one of the British journalists, like Huggins about to come up and beat the shit
I
out
know.
of
Who are you most scared of?
Name
names.
Oh no, I've got an uncomfortable chair, and the mic's heavy. And listen, I've been sleeping in a fucking teepee for the past 2 nights. I'm a little run down, and I got these noise canceling headphones on, so yeah. But I had a great day, so thank you for asking.
a fucking teepee. You've been glamping. How's the glamping going?
Yeah. I mean, it's Spartan. I have a cot, which is sweet.
We should mention why you're there.
Yeah, there's a camping village across the street from the driving range, so it's very convenient. And
Put on by
come
our
and
friends
go
at
as you
FootJoy.
please, and put on by our friends at FootJoy.
Are they
which has been
carnies?
delightful. No, it does not smell like cabbage, but that's a great question. And the hands are regular sized, so that's good too.
Can you just give me a little insight on the camping village? We're going to get back to the Open, but I do kind of need to know, just the vibe. Like, what's it like when you wake up in the morning? What's the scene? Absolute scenes over there, mate, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of a big wigwam where everybody kind of congregates, and they've got some good beers on tap. And I mean, there's like 600 tents, like there's 1,500 people like hanging out, and so it's actually been pretty like laid back because I kind of thought it might turn into Firefest, but it hasn't. And it's really nice because it's like literally 5 minutes from the course, so that's great. I got one more night. I'm probably ready to not sleep in a teepee.
Sure.
But I will say this one shout out. I've been very critical of the food in England. They have a food truck, like 5 or 6 food trucks, phenomenal food trucks. So I just want to give a shout out. I know I've been critical of that in the past.
That's big
here across the pond.
Neil,
So,
what was your favorite thing you saw today?
Tyrrell Hatton almost killed a bird on 10T off like with his
golf
driver
ball or
straight
with
up.
hands?
Like yeah, every 70 yards out, these birds were just like hanging out, and I swear to God, it whizzed right by one of them, and
You could have
crowd
brought the
went
bird
nuts.
back to the campsite.
It was incredible.
Put it on the campfire on a
Yeah,
spit.
probably could have. I think. Listen, we'll get into the camping stuff this weekend when I get back, and I can kind of
Project.
reflect on my time and you know, just be a little bit
Be
better.
the kid.
No, two things. One, Max's putting was excellent today. I thought he really rolled the rock, and it was great to see he and Joe getting their process. They both felt like they were having a good time, so that's always fun to see. He was getting Maxi a lot. People were calling him a sexy meatball. A lot of chatter. The chaps love Max, and they love Tyrrell too. So there's a lot of juice for both of those guys.
Seeing Max in this setting these days is kind of like when you go to Iration concert, right? And you see Poosh, you're like, oh my, this guy's like a rock star.
Yes,
People
well
love
said.
this guy. That's crazy. I thought he was just a dork in our group text.
Well said. I want to give a shout out to the English fans. They're tremendous. Like everybody's locked into the golf, and not a lot of post shot shouting. It just feels like it's a worthy pursuit. Like everybody's out there to like focus. They want to be like additive to the action. There's almost like a scale of like how loud they clap. Like if it's 20 feet, it's like, oh, that's a 20-foot clap. If it's to 5 feet, it's even better. So I think they deserve all the credit they usually get. I just wanted to say seeing that in person was great.
I believe they were compared to the St. Louis Cardinals fans on the broadcast today.
Oh, best fans in baseball.
Yeah.
Really? Well, listen, guys, I don't want to take up any more time. I want to bring in the next
Neil's
guest.
begging to get out. Neil's
Get
begging.
out of the
I just-
hostage booth.
I just got to ask you one thing. Did you notice there was a photo going around about Max writing some letters on his glove? I know that's something that you've done in the past, writing fucking tempo on your driver. Did you guys find any community there? Is that something that came from you? Is that something you noticed? Did you talk to him about that at all?
I did not have a chance to ask him about it. I was trying to stay, I didn't want to get in his flow at all, but I don't know what those letters stand for, but I'd be curious to find
It was
out.
NFG, which many people have said non-fungible glove, but I'm going to guess it was probably no fucks given, but I could be wrong about that.
I felt like he was playing that way. He played pretty loose. I didn't love the TIO relief on 18.
It was so scummy.
But listen, you can't miss right there. I saw Ricky hit 2 OB on 18. I want to say, I know you guys have probably talked a lot about this. The internal OB is fucking sweet. It is. I saw Morikawa hit one out on 3. Hit one right. It's awesome. It's just like, oh, see ya. Drop another one. Sorry. It just dictates like the strategy. 3 and 18 are very stressful holes. So something to watch. I'm way in on the internal OB.
All right, well, Neil, we will let you get out of here. Thank you for joining Electric Drop-In. Enjoy the last night at the campsite. Say hi to all the fellow campers. Let us know if we can do anything to make your stay more comfortable.
Thanks for having me, fellas. I'll see you on the other side.
All right. Guys, should we talk about some odds?
Yes.
We should. I just want to say again, like it looked like one of our grouchy British journalist friends was standing over the camera, staring at glaring at Neil with a knife in his hand or something.
It was a pretty outstanding drop in from Neil. I would say if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, it might be worth going to check that part out on the YouTube video where these are also available. Let's get into some odds, shall we? Randy, who do you think the tournament favorite is right now? Plus 600. These are, of course, brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook.
It's got to be the lad, right?
It is
Tommy?
the lad, plus 600. We have, after that, Scott Scheffler, plus 650. I kind of fell out of it. What did he even shoot today? I thought he was a
minus
really-
one.
Maybe it was
That's 70.
That's a lot of respect from the odds makers there.
Especially when his putting looked like shit.
He is plus 650, which, his puttings looked like shit for a while, and he continues to finish third. Next up, after that, plus 950 is Roderick McIlroy, who I'm sure we'll get to in a second. After that, plus 1600, Jordan Spieth. Plus 1600, Brian Harman. Must credit the NLU preview podcast. Solly and I tried to warn you guys that was coming. Harman's always doing stuff. You guys know that.
Yes.
And we might need to, Tron, I know this is going to catch your fancy, but we might need to have a Brian Harman for Ryder Cup conversation at some point. Put that on the agenda.
He made Ricky cry at NCAA's.
People absolutely forget that. After that, Brooks Koepka plus 1800, and then we have our U.S. Open champion Wyndham Clark plus 1800. Anything sticking out there, guys, from the odds, courtesy of DK here?
One of the guys that's not on there that I think Emiliano Grillo. We haven't mentioned him yet. He's tied for the lead.
Plus 2200. I did mention him. That's why I said all those names up front. That was a legal loophole.
I got you. I don't know. He seems to be a little bit like our guy Andres Romero of yesteryear, Randy.
I love the Argentinian Mamba.
Yeah, just like makes a ton of birdies and doesn't really even putt well. Just hits the shit out of the ball. He just hits his irons so well. I would like to see him on this list. I thought Wyndham Clark showed me something today. -3 for him. Disappointing. Like, it's kind of weird to not see Max on there in the top 6 or 7 guys.
He's the next guy. He's plus 2000 right after Wyndham Clark.
Okay.
It's an immense amount of respect for Rory still, I believe. That's another big takeaway that I have.
Agree with that. Well, guys, this, as I mentioned, these odds are brought to you by our partners, the DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings offers nearly endless ways to get in on all the golf betting action. Be sure to check them out. Get some skin in the game. Randy, I got a report. You maybe had some skin in the game this week. Could you confirm that?
I can confirm. Out here in Colorado, I am free to place bets courtesy of DraftKings, my preferred betting partner, and made a little personal wager on the Links Master, Jordo Spieth, which
just a little something to feel alive.
Just wanted to sweat this weekend. I'm going to be watching a lot of golf. Would love to get that heart rate up from time to time.
Well, if any of those odds are catching your fancy, please follow Randy's lead and place those bets with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Should we bring in our next guest? Same microphone, probably less crippling fear of those around him. It's KVV. Kevin, greetings. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hello, lads. I think that was partially my fault because I was like, Neil, you're in the media center. You need to be respectful of other people. I just don't want you get attacked by some random British
journalist. This up for me, all right, Neil?
And I think I maybe convinced him to be a little bit too somber and quiet. So
he looks like one of those Instagram guys that has the little mini mic that they're speaking into.
One of those wildlife show hosts. We're here stalking our prey. It's the most incredible beasts that we're seeing up here. So anyway, thanks for all the people in the chat talking shit and saying that KV is looking a little better because my name was up on the screen when Neil was talking. So I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I hear you. I see you people.
Are you sleeping in a tent this week?
God, no. One of the things that Neil made most clear was like, hey Kev, like you go ahead and get your Airbnb. I'm gonna take one for the team and do the tent life. So I've visited the tent several times. I've smelled the inside of the tent. It's fine,
I'm so in on the tent. I've always wanted to do that since FootJoy.
Does Neil have a tent mate, or is Neil alone in the tent?
He does. Yeah, our hitter Patty is in the tent with him.
Yeah, they were sharing the tent.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that's phenomenal.
Look, you can't get your own tent, DJ. This is ridiculous.
That's great.
That would be so posh of Neil.
We might need to get Patty on the show Saturday just to debrief and follow Neil around.
We were grilling Patty pretty good about English food today, and he was defending it. With all the roasts and such. We were kind of like, man, this is a lot of mush that you guys make. And Patty was very. I don't want to say he was insulted, but he was definitely sticking up for his country's cuisine. So
if you get down with just dry, unseasoned roasts, it's definitely the place for you. But we don't have to relitigate that. KBV, you followed the Rictator around today. Is that accurate?
I did.
What was your
I
takeaways
thought,
from following Ricky Fowler?
man, it was going great for a little while there. The man had it taken it deep. He made a great birdie on 17, and so I kind of thought after he just made a birdie on 15, I was like, guy's got it to 2 under. Like, you know, he striped the ball with the driver. It was like right in the middle of the fairway on 18. Had to wait a long time for, you know, things to clean up down there. And then just in one of the more surreal scenes that I think I've ever witnessed in person, pump 2, like right down the OB line. The marshal gave like the big, like wave the hands like umpires do in America when they say it's safe. And I was like, oh, he's good. And no, apparently in England, that means you're fucked. So he kind of quickly knew. He reloaded, pumped another one out of bounds. And to his credit, at that point, I would have been like, well, I'm just going to bunt a 9-iron down there. But he was like, well, I got to hit the shot that I got to hit, and striped it. Perfect shot, trickled right between the bunkers like he was intended, and then lag butted in for an 8. So, I mean, credit to him for basically like tin cupping it until it was going to. I hear this was not on television. Is that accurate?
It was eventually. Eventually,
long
okay.
last. Yeah, you know, like a couple hours later. But yeah.
Oh, hit it.
It was like 15 minutes later, but still bad.
It was especially jarring because he birdied 17 as well.
Yeah,
like
great shot in there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. When he walked out of the grandstands, he walked through the tunnel to get to 17, and the whole crowd like erupted. It was like when a guy makes an appearance in a play who's like a famous person, like, oh, it's Lin-Manuel Miranda, and like the whole crowd starts cheering. So that was kind of a cool thing to sort of be there for. Ricky was, you know, noshing on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Might have been peanut butter and banana, not clear. Can't definitively report. But man, I just felt like Rick would be someone who was fun to follow because the vibes are so good here from 2014, and he had it going, and then kind of the disastrous thing. I got to say, and this is the point of my story because I wrote this about Rick. I think it just posted. We just tweeted it out. Absolutely like stone cold killer in terms of like not even flinching. No like slapping the thigh, no, you know, whipping the club around, not even a grimace. Just basically like, well, I just hit another one out of bounds. Guess I'll try a third time, which was amazing to me. So
that's kind of his superpower, like just how even keel he is. By the way, I don't know if you guys can hear the Blue Angels flying over my house. Milwaukee air show starts tomorrow, so it's a hectic live show today, guys. Brother. Yeah, truly. The windows are rattling. Not a good time for that. But is this the time to talk in-course OB at Hoylake and how we feel about it? Randy, what's your takeaway on that?
I mean, you tell me what you think my takeaway is.
I think you think that it's sick. It's awesome. It should be celebrated. Now,
exactly.
I
more of it. Give me more of
it. So I would caution you there, Randy. I don't think we can abuse it, right? I think it could be, you know, I didn't love it at Hoylake, but I love it here because it doesn't feel arbitrary or it doesn't feel.
This is Hoylake.
Or sorry, at Port Rush. Sorry, my brain's still scrambled from the.
Sorry, I have my rankings upside down. Hold on 1 second.
I love it. I like on the third hole here. It's fantastic. It's brilliant on 18. It's the one thing that can actually scare these guys. Even water hazards don't scare these guys because they just get to drop right there and then they can hit their next shot to the green and try to get up and down. Whereas like stroke and distance it's like the death penalty for these guys.
I have never been here, but from watching on TV, I'm trying to gather, is it basically like the par 5 version of the road hole at St. Andrews? Like you can hug the OB to try to hit the fairway, or you can blow it 60 miles left. You're just going to be in the shit.
Second shot a little bit like that.
What's the setup like there?
I would say not exactly. I'd say it honestly just like runs right along the side. I don't think there's any real advantage to like, not on 18 anyway. I think on 3, yes, you're cutting off that corner. Is that Trent? Is that accurate?
On 3, yeah. I mean, on 3, like if you fade one in there and you lose it right, like you're, you know, it truly forces a decision. I feel like on 18, there's so much different stuff going on with it that it's a different factor on every single shot. It's just this extra variable you have to consider.
I mean, it's definitely scary. Like you can see how close it is. It's, you know, the big mound of, you know, whatever it is, kind of, it's not gorse, but it's like just wispy rough like runs right along there. And I think that I heard someone say that if you stand on the edge of the green, the right edge of the green, if you're facing the green, 10 yards right is out of bounds. Like it's not 15, it's 10 yards. And so that definitely scares, like, that's why you see guys like bailing left or hitting it. That's why like Rory and John hit it in those bunkers, because, you know, it's right as Tron said, it's a death penalty over there.
And it's also kind of, you know, where I think we're getting, I know it's always like this and it plays like this for the members and is usually the practice area, and it's played like this for a very, very long time. But when it comes to pro golf, it's also kind of, hey man, if we're not going to do anything about the golf ball, if we're not going to roll it back, if we're not going to make it spin more, if we're not going to do any of these things, then like, yeah, you've left me no choice, my guys. It's going to be stroke and distance. I don't know what else to tell you. Is that how you guys feel?
That's
Randy?
exactly how I feel, DJ. Yes. Define the golf course.
Yeah.
It's a tool in the toolkit to make it more difficult for the pros, and I am here for that. I'll
say this too. You know who didn't bitch about it? It was Ricky Fowler. He was like, yeah, that's just kind of what links golf is. Like he's like, it's not like they just put that up there. Like that's been there for 100 years. Like that's part of the course, and we know it's there, and you have to, you know, hit a good shot. So
it's like a great example of, like, we bitch about it all the time when sometimes these places play seemingly easier when, you know, the pros show up because they get TIO everywhere and all this stuff, where like it's one of those examples where that's where the range normally is for the members.
Yeah.
And it is normally out of bounds. And so in my opinion, it should still be out of bounds for the tournament. And there's these raised berms there, or cops, you know, they're called, and back the blue. I know Randy's a big back the blue guy. And you know,
a lot of people looking to defund OB as well.
And it's very much like, hey, like these things make sense there. It's part of the course. It's, like you said, it's been part of the course for 100+ years, and hopefully it continues being part of the course.
I would like to attest. I did play Hoylake in 2017 with Solly, and I hit it at OB there, and I had to Solly like a true golf.
Did
dad.
you handle it like Ricky Fowler?
Yeah, no, not so much. Like a true golf dad, I think I had to walk back to the tee to hit another. So yeah, it was like right on the border. But
Kev, any other big takeaways before we get you out of here? You said your piece just filed.
Yeah,
people can go read that at your leisure.
Yeah, you know, Rory, I snuck over there for Rory real quick. Seemed quite relieved. Basically, he was like, man, these effing bunkers, as he said hello as he was zooming into his press availability. I mean, he felt like, you know, if I shoot something in the 60s, I'm totally fine tomorrow. Hopefully, you know, the conditions are a little bit similar to tomorrow, where you get a little more wind in the afternoon. I think Solly was telling us it's a shot harder in the afternoon, close to it anyway. So, you know, he's all right. Max was looking pretty psyched when he came through his press availability. It feels like, you know, a couple guys are in good shape. Rom less psyched. And also, like, we talked a little bit, you know, just watched a little bit of JT. I'm going to leave that one to you guys to sort of talk further, but it just really, man, not great.
It's not tight. It's not tight right now.
A lot of things are not functioning right. So
yeah. We might need to put an investigative reporter out there tomorrow to go follow JT around and find out what the hell's going on.
I'll see if I can find one. And see if Neil's ready for that. I don't know. We'll see.
Question for you. Stu Sink had some thoughts. First of all, I don't think it's unfinished business at this course for Stu Sink. This is British Open. Feels like he's finished more business than he.
It's true.
And he should.
Nobody's even gonna remember what that's from. I don't know why we keep saying that.
But Stu Sink, I guess he had some travel issues on the way over. He then said, you know, I can't really tell you what happened.
This is disgusting by TC, by the way. This is disgusting.
I got my finger. The name Ben and I got our finger on the button here. We're not going to draw break out.
You know, they were at fault,
close,
so
coach.
I can't really talk about it. KVV, you had some travel issues of your own. Wanted to give you the floor.
Yeah, pretty. So I like many golf people do. I brought my golf clubs over to the motherland here. They never arrived. In fact, they never left JFK, despite a 2-hour layover in JFK.
And they canceled your flight the day before.
They canceled my flight before. Just really frustrating. At this point, they're lying to me about. They keep saying, "Oh, your clubs are on the flight. It'll be there tomorrow. I know that's a lie because I have an air tag in them. I can see them freaking sitting on the freaking terminal at the number 4 terminal at JFK. So if there's any like Virgin Atlantic employee or Delta employee who wants to walk over there and pull my clubs out, at least give me a holler. I'll unlimited credit in the NLU Pro Shop. Sorry, Randy. I'm furious at this point.
We can't say unlimited. Like a big credit, but not
big
unlimited.
Credit.
We can't make a verbal contract.
Okay.
We could have like an Erica Herman situation here.
Withdrawn. I did get to play Royal Birkdale last night, thanks to some incredibly kind members. So shout out my boys for doing that. It was awesome. Playing it with Reynolds, not ideal, but did play with Titleists. Did roll the rock pretty well. So. But enough about me here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we got one of those travel employees on the line here. We're gonna need to get you.
Well,
over
KBV,
there.
I will turn up the heat. I'll turn up the heat.
You.
I'm standing down and standing by for when you need me. Okay.
If you get over to Birkdale again, you should get one of those haircuts, KVV, that Spieth got.
I should. There's who knows? Could be a good look for me. I got a Patagonia vest and a shaved head. Like it's a very like tough guy English look. That could work out great for me. I will say one thing I forgot to say in my Ricky thing. A fan called him a coward today, heckled him from the crowd. Rick said that was the first time he'd ever been heckled like that. It had to do with his decision to not invest in Leeds United, which
I think Spieth and JT did, right?
Shanny.
I think he was originally part of the collective. Yeah.
Do you think TC? Do you think that Ricky knew that Shanny was involved, or was there any confusion that should we?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would like to know more about his reasoning why. Like I know the Niners cap guru and president of football operations Parag Marath, who Poosh and I are a massive fan of. He's going to be in charge of Leeds as well. So he would be in good hands if he did invest.
All right. Well, a trap draw has officially broken out, so we're gonna get some of the tops from the 18th hole to really put the contain back up and try to rein this thing in. Randy,
Ricky's never been that comfortable with leads or investing in leads, so I'm not sure how much.
Ooh, that's well done.
That's actually pretty good there,
guys. KVV, quick question for you before we get you out of here. Is there a scenario in which Ricky finishes with a better career than JT? At this point,
that's a great question. A better career. I mean, that's 2 majors to 0. I think.
Well, it's like 1.5 because Quail Hollow is like a half.
Okay,
and Ricky got half from the players.
Yeah,
that's true. So he's really only down 1 major. That's interesting.
But if they could flip that switch at any moment,
players,
make them retroactive. That's true. Yeah, good point.
Listen,
each other out.
I think that there's a good chance that Rick's ages better, that he hasn't really had any injury stuff going on. He seems to have figured out the putting, whereas JT seems quite lost with the putter at this moment. But I think that JT's got such a lead in like terms of victories and a really great Ryder Cup record that Ricky doesn't have. So I'm going to disappoint you and say no. I don't think that scenario is possible. But they're buds. Like they can share in the joy together.
Okay.
Well, let's it might be time for the JT conversation. So KVV, we're gonna cut you loose. Go enjoy the rest of the British evening over there. Thanks for popping in, and we'll probably hear from you tomorrow.
Neil has promised me a fun evening in the tent village, so that's my plan. I'll report back tomorrow.
A couple of those dead birds at the campfire for him.
Neil's gonna fire up the peace pipe.
Count me in, Randy. Count me in.
All right, Kev. Thanks for popping in, Randy. Before we move any further, I have one question for you.
Please.
Did you know that we have our own rangefinder carrying case now, thanks to our friends at Precision Pro?
I found out. I did know this. I just received mine, and it looks awesome.
It does.
I put it on the bag. Yeah.
It's a great way to customize your Precision Pro NX10 rangefinder with your favorite NLU designs. Rep the pod on the course. Head to precisionprogolf.com/NLU. Use code no laying up. You gonna remember that code, Randy? No laying up to save $20 on your rangefinder and case. You know this, guys. We've been using the NX10 for almost a year. Rangefinder is a tank. I can absolutely attest to that thing. Like I'm rocking through in this Wisconsin golf marathon, taking all these like bumpy cart paths, things falling off and getting run over. It just doesn't even phase the NX10. It's a complete tank. That's exactly the word. Locks onto target quick, has all kinds of additional features, slope switch, HD optics, magnetic cart mount. Make the NX10 your go-to choice on the course. Don't wait. Go to precisionprogolf.com/NLU and save $20 with your NLU rangefinder and carrying case by using promo code no laying up. TC, you want to talk about the golf course? Or you want to talk about JT?
Let's talk about JT just to keep us on subject, and then we'll go to the golf course.
All right. What are your initial thoughts from kind of what we have seen not only here but also at LACC? I believe 81, 82 his last two major rounds. Do I have that right?
I think so. It's I don't know, like MC, T58, MC this year in the majors. It's tough. It's really like you don't want to sit here and dump on the guy, right? But there's been multiple rounds in the 80s in 2023 in the majors. This is a Justin Ray tweet. Sandy Lyle, Sean McKeel, Chris Sanger, a PGA Club Pro, and Justin Thomas. And we're just supposed to automatically give this guy a spot on the Ryder Cup team?
Well, I think it's two different questions, right? I think number one is what's going on, which we can speculate ad nauseum. And number two is probably the Ryder Cup conversation, right? And so I think when it comes to number one, like what's going on, I have a lot of whiffs. I know the basement seems to be a lot lower than what we saw with Spieth, but it feels a little bit like what we went through with Spieth, right? When he was going through swing changes, he was going through injuries, he looked totally lost. He's doing all kinds of dumb rehearsals. He's trying to get better. I think it just happens, right? Like these periods seem like out of body experiences. And I'm sure that's how it feels to him now. But also just, it's weird. I think the thing about someone like JT is I don't think he's who he is because he's like some golf robot that has the most repeatable golf swing ever. And, you know, he flushes it right out of the middle every time. I think he's who he is because he's like an unbelievable golf mind, similar to Spieth. Right. And they're both just like freaks as far as getting the ball in the hole. And that's where I'm kind of like, dude, I don't think it's almost like a yip type thing. All the calls for like, is he done? What's going on is like, you can put those like on the record if you want, but I think we're going to have to revisit those in a year. And
I'll be clear too. Silly. Like, I don't think he's like done. I think he'll be back. I think he's a good player. I think he's a great player. Right. But like, I think looking at the stats, he gained strokes and approach today, but it seems like it's one of those things where when he loses it with the driver or he loses it with the putter, he's just pressing.
Yeah.
And, everything else gets out of whack and it kind of compounds itself. And then this is the kind of golf course too, where, once you lose a little bit of momentum, you get on your heels a little bit and you're trying to press and you're trying to get back in it. And it's just going to exacerbate things and you're going to get up against, the lip of a bunker or, you're pitching out backwards before you know it. And then, and then you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar on one of the par threes or, it's got to be frustrating. I feel for the guy. And, it's probably not as bad of a round of golf as the score makes it look. Like he made a 9 on 18.
That's going to add up.
Yeah, that's going to,
going
to kind of put an exclamation point on things. But I like on the website, I will say it's wild. They've got that kind of scatter plot graph there. And I think we lost DJ.
Man down.
He bounced in solidarity with JT. They've got that scatter plot graph on the site, and he legitimately like his looks like a tiny little like wedge. Whereas everybody else's looks like these crazy trapezoids that's coming out of the center and all that. His looks like just the tiniest little like wedge of cheese.
I dropped out for a second there, TC. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Talking about those scatter plots they've got on the site.
Yeah.
The stats page. Yeah. The strokes gained.
Randy, any takeaways from what we've seen from him the last couple of months?
No, just that he's a guy that I don't know. I feel like we've not to this extent necessarily 81, 82. I feel like this is a new rock bottom, but I think he's a guy we've talked about in the past, just wondering, he certainly has peaks and valleys in his game. So I don't think this is out of nowhere or completely without precedent. And yeah, he's just never someone I quite trust in the big moments, which is a weird thing to say for a guy who's won 2 PGAs and been a great Ryder Cupper. I don't have any answers. This is, I guess, is me saying I don't know. It's really fascinating. It's not exactly fun to watch, but I do think there's it's fun when, I think so. I'm speaking personally. I think it's fun when these world-class guys get a little adversity, because I think seeing how they react and how they come back and how long it takes them to come back, there's some genuine interest there. So I think I'll be really curious what we see out of JT the rest of the year, and then, as much of an offseason as he has and going into 2024, because I thought once Bones came on the bag, we were potentially going to see him really take it to a new level. And I know he did win the PGA in Tulsa a couple of years ago, but he just has not quite lived up to the expectations, in my opinion.
And that's where I think this, again, it's all speculation, but like there's little things to pick at, right? Just like there was with Spieth, and how many people were talking about, oh, he needs to get rid of Cam McCormick, and he needs to change this, and he needs to do this, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I think all those same questions are justified with JT, right? I think he, as far as I know, still mostly works with his dad on his golf swing. Does he need to do something fresh? I have no idea. I don't know what that relationship is like, or how he best works, or any of that stuff. I just know that I don't know. I think not being confident that he's going to figure it out and get it back is taking like a pretty short view of how these careers tend to go. I mean, Spieth looked pretty fucking dark a couple of years ago, and I would not want to reread some of the stuff we said about him on the podcast during those times, but also like it was totally normal to see him go ball out at a major championship today, right? That's just kind of the way it goes. They make their way back. But I think the much more interesting conversation, because it involves a lot of other people, is what do we do with the Ryder Cup? And that's, TC, I know where you're chomping at the bit to weigh in.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think with JT too, it's not like it's just one thing either. Like the putting's has been and probably always will be an issue. It's just that it's compounded with other stuff. Whereas, I don't know, it's always more frustrating when you can't really deduce what it is, when it feels like a different thing every week, or it's not one thing. But also, like, this guy shot 64, 62 back-to-back days at the Travelers a couple months, like a month ago, right? Like, he's still a good player. He's still a great player. But I do think, like, it's laughable to me that, like, he should be on the Ryder Cup team if the guy, like, made one cut in a major this year, emceed the rest of them, and it flies in the face of all the task force stuff and all the other stuff, all the strokes gained data that Solly's always pushing out and all this and that. And it's like, man, like, I think at some point, like, other guys have earned a shot, right?
I don't know. Randy, where are you at?
From where I sit, it's like, I don't think anybody with how deep U.S. men's golf is right now, I don't think anybody necessarily has to have a spot on the Ryder Cup team. So for me, it's like, yeah, why, if, Solly's been telling us for years how good and deep the roster of potential Ryder Cuppers is, then yeah, let's see somebody new. I don't think it's the end of the world if JT's not on the Ryder Cup.
And make him an ass captain, right?
Right.
Like, I think for me, the more concerning thing is, like, I want to see a player like JT play well in the Open Championship. Like, that's the most confounding part to me, is like, this would seem to suit the style of golf that he plays and the creativity in, like, I would consider JT a real golfer. He's a pitcher, not a thrower. Like, I mean that as a massive compliment. And like, we're not seeing that out of him in his career, and he needs to unlock something there.
I think as somebody who, I kind of root for the US team. They've been unlikable for a very long time. I think it's getting a lot better with some of the newer names that are on the US team now.
Like
but
Keegan's going to be on the team this
yeah,
year.
I think things like that. I think Brian Harmon would help. A lot of those guys. But no, I think that as somebody who's, I guess, pretty ambivalent towards or indifferent, I should say, towards like the result of the Ryder Cup. Man, having JT there is like sign me up as the most interesting possible thing. It makes every session infinitely more interesting if JT can't crack an egg, go in there and they pick him and someone sticks their neck out to have him on the team because I mean, Solly said this a bunch too, but like it could totally be a Sergio moment, right? Where Sergio sucked and they put him on the Ryder Cup team and he was still the same killer that he always is and he just found it when he was there. I mean, that to me, TC is like, you throw no love lost, throw the records out type of stuff that I actually kind of love. So I don't know. I think I'm rooting for him to be on the team just because I think it'd be way more interesting. But yeah, if you're going like sabermetrics, it's like,
that's where like
that
we're
probably
like,
doesn't make a lot of sense.
it's like I'm always that guy who like, let's throw all that shit out and just put guys that we want to put on the team. But some of the same people that typically vilify me and Randy for making those arguments
The haters
are
and
now
losers.
saying that, oh yeah, like JT's a no-brainer to put on the team. It's like, wait, you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth.
Yeah, that was my Mickelson rationale for years. Was like, if you want the most entertaining, interesting Ryder Cup, then take Mickelson. So I support that. If you want JT for the same reasons, I cannot argue that. But
and Deej, like I definitely hear you. Like, you toss the balls out there in match play, especially in alt shot, and like, it's like a series of like one shot competitions almost. Right? Like you got to summon something, and you're not in a
very small sample size.
Yeah. Whereas it's much different than stroke play and all the patterns and trends and habits that you've developed there. It can kind of jolt you out of that in a good way. So.
All right, well let's move on. I prepared a little game for you guys. Okay, we're gonna do a little guess who said it. We'll do that. I pulled a bunch of quotes, and I'm gonna read the quotes. You guys guess who said them, and then we will kind of maybe it'll lead to some other talking points. God, there's another fucking Blue Angel just rocked my house.
Are these all golfers or are these coming from anywhere?
These people are all golfers.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's start with the first one. Quote, I'm feeling really intense, powerful feelings. I feel truly alive. Who said it, Randy?
My guy TC.
That's a quote from Teron Carter from the internal Slack today regarding the Tommy Fleetwood 66. Just one of the most joyful Slack messages I've ever seen. Just every word chosen so carefully to just maximize the impact of that message. Truly one of my favorite messages ever, Tron.
I'm trying to figure out what I should do. Like, do I, I may go see a movie tomorrow morning.
Oppenheimer comes out tomorrow, and Barbie.
Yeah.
Double feature.
And then, from there, like, do I go to the beach on Saturday morning? I think I should probably buy a flight now.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Will you, as a Tommy fan, commit to flying to England? That's what I think a lot of people are asking.
So up until yesterday, my decision was made for me because my passport had expired like maybe 3 weeks ago, and I had applied for reinstatement like back after I got back from Scotland in early May.
But we've got a bunch of people at Homeland Security that know how important this is.
And I just got it in the mail yesterday, ahead of schedule. Actually, I was shocked. But man, yeah. So, the option is on the table. I think I should, it's either that or have a massive festival in my backyard and invite a bunch of people. Cause I need to do something. I can't just sit around all day Saturday and all day Sunday. And like there's a direct flight from Orlando to Manchester that I could hop on, or I could fly to Frankfurt or Munich on Lufthansa and then fly back to Liverpool.
Of course.
Can you imagine? God, I wish I could do justice to illustrate the upside and downside of that plan. of you arriving on an overnight flight in Manchester to see Tommy like bogey the first 4 and just feeling like the biggest chode in the world, and the upside of everything that could happen if he actually went out and won and just turned into an all-time day. That's
God,
the ball is
TC
in your court, TC. You got a chance to do something pretty epic.
TC crotch chopping on the 18th after Tommy wins.
Running on the trophy ceremony like the Jungle Bird.
I don't
would
think
be
I
the
can even
stuff
get a
of
media.
dreams.
Like I can't get a media pass because I'm clearly rooting for somebody.
No, you're gonna have to storm the castle.
I know. It's
Take
it's very
matters
much
into your
a-
own hands.
Yeah, maybe I can talk to some of my member friends and get some clubhouse passes, and it'll be like
TC
It'll be like Tommy and Sally and I in Abu Dhabi back in the day when Finno and Tommy we were partying up in the Eagle up top.
God,
TC,
unreal.
if you leave tomorrow, you could maybe go through Singapore.
That's true.
I could, yeah.
All right, let's move on. There's another quote. There's a lot of dog legs that kind of suck you into the pot bunkers almost. I could go out there and play a lot more defensive, but that's not how I play golf.
A big boy,
Rom?
an aggressive boy.
Definitely a big boy.
Shane Lowry?
Good guess.
That is a good guess.
I don't know if he's physically big. He's just kind of big in stature, in myth.
Was that a Roderick?
Big shot, Bob McIntyre.
Oh,
He wants the ball and he's going to score. He's going to be hitting drivers everywhere. But it does lead me to a quote that I tweeted from Shane Lowry. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me, but he was talking about Hoylake and was basically like, he summed up golf in like 3 sentences to me, or at least like what I think golf should be, which is like, man, if you don't hit driver, you got to lay way back and then you're just playing for pars. But if you do hit driver, you might hit in one of these bunkers and it's like a 1-shot penalty. Like, I don't really know what to do. It's like, yeah, man, that's it. That's the whole thing. That's what we're looking for every week. And we finally got it. It's just, I think, spoke to how awesome of a setup this is.
that's why it's such a fascinating thing for kind of the weekend too, where like Tommy, for instance, Tommy laid way back off the tee on a lot of holes today. Does he keep that strategy going, or does he force it off the tee come Sunday feeling like, all right, I got to put it in gears so I go out and get this thing?
And I think it makes sense for someone like, to look at through the lens of someone like Rory too, right? If he gets the driver going and if he turns that into like a massive weapon, it's all of a sudden something on this golf course, almost like more than any others that like nobody can keep up with. Right. But it's so fun to just think about that idea of like, yeah, dude, play super safe, play major championship golf, lay it way back. But like, you're going to have to lay it back so much farther than you would at normal golf courses. Bob McIntyre was talking about how he wanted to hit a lot of 3-woods. He's like, yes, seemingly like that would be safer, but 3-wood just brings like all the trouble in. And it just makes it like really dangerous to hit into these bunkers. So you either got to like try to fly them with driver and take on a huge risk, or just lay so far back that it just makes par like a really good score. It's just such a cool illustration of the test.
What'd Bob shoot today? Like 74?
It's a great question.
He was 3 over.
Yeah, Bob, Gooch, Podrick, and Bryson all grouped together there at 3 over.
That's a bummer. Kind of expected decent things from all 4 of those guys.
There's a secular proxy war going on with Taylor Gooch this week that I'm here for. Well, DJ, to your point, I love that too, and it just can't be understated how awesome the bunkering is. I mean, I know newsflash, links golf, but it
can't be overstated.
It starts with bunkers that are actual hazards, and that's my big issue. I jokingly say the bunkers over here shouldn't be raked, but how else can we make these bunkers hazards where guys actually have to think about how to avoid them?
Dude, seeing John Rahm hitting outside backwards, seeing JT hit the one off the wall into the other bunker, seeing Rory leave one in there, it's like, that's like, feed me, Randy. That's what we're looking for.
It's good. It's fun. And then all the grass around the bunkers too, where like Rahm pitches out and then it's on the downslope there, or Rory had a really good up and down after just one atrocious wedge shot. Or like, it's like Rory put one in like right in the bunker on 15. And it's like, dude, like he still made birdie, but that's kind of the one thing you can't do there. Or I mean, Straka trying to bump one off the top of the bunker there, and then
Not trying doing it.
Yeah, that was one of the best shots I've ever seen.
It was I almost like jumped off my couch this morning. I was like, why did they not like stop the tournament to just make everybody watch the replay of that
You
shot?
should just give him the jug.
Unbelievable. Really sticking it to Solly.
You should put him on the Ryder Cup team
for not
just
picking
for
him on
that
his Ryder
shot.
Cup team. Won the John Deere, hit that shot at the Open, get him to Rome. All right, let's move on. Tell me if you guys get sick of this game. I got a lot of them.
I love this game.
All right, let me get you. This is an easy W for you guys. My dad is 6'4", and he's the shortest of the last 5 generations. On my dad's side, the length is there. My grandfather was 6'8". My great grandfather was 7 foot.
Big Randy.
Christo. That one's Christo. No real context, just a tall, just a big ass guy.
Unit coming from a family of units.
Is
Comes from an
Christo
absolute
sticking
family of
around
units.
or no?
TC, I hate to rain on any of the parade. I think history would probably tell us maybe not. He seemed pretty in control of his pill out there today, though.
It's pretty cool. I think, what's the stat? The first amateur to lead here since Ben Hogan in 1930?
Mr. Hogan.
Mr. Hogan. And the first amateur, I believe, to lead or co-lead any Open since Tom Lewis. Like in the last, he and Tom Lewis, maybe in the last 50 years, something like that. I think it's impressive. Right. I don't think he's sticking around. I will say I didn't see any of his round this morning. We'll get to our viewing strategies, but I'm looking forward to at least watching him hit some shots tomorrow.
It's really fun to watch the golf swing, and he nukes the golf ball. It's wild, Randy. You have no excuses for not carrying it 320 after watching what he's doing.
I know.
So maybe you can work on that. Do some speed training overnight.
I am right now, though, mentally.
All right, this is another easy one for you. Although maybe not for you, Randy, if you didn't get up early. I was trying to flop cut an 8-iron. I feel like I'm as good as anybody at that shot, and I guess the hosel just got there first. I'm not really sure.
Is that Phil?
That was Jordan Spieth about his shank that led to his double on the 8th hole. Kind of the big blemish of the day for him.
What a bender for Spieth today.
Trying to hit a flop cut 8-iron. Oh God, who doesn't like the Open, man?
I'm buying Spieth. Made the double on 8, bogeyed 18, but otherwise a good round of golf. 5 birdies, buying Spieth.
It just looked very in control. I was very bearish on him coming in, but I am also an idiot. So happy to be proven wrong there. Loved what we saw from Spieth. I thought this was a good one. I always ran pretty hot, but I was right at the boiling point as far as my anger and frustration. I'd birdie the first 2 holes and go, wow, I'm going to win the tournament on day 1. Conversely, if I bogeyed the first 2, I was like, oh, we're missing the cut. It's amazing how far I've come.
Tommy?
Not Tommy.
Max?
Not Max. This guy has more majors than both of those guys combined.
Alex Noren?
I don't think I'd have to check my records, but no, not Alex Noren.
Rombo?
Wyndham Clark, your U.S. Open champion, talking about the development of his mental game, how much calmer he feels at majors. I just thought that was illustrative, that he completely backed it up. Made 1 start since the U.S. Open, took a bunch of time off, and came here, felt really comfortable, put up a great round of golf today.
TC, what do you feel about Wyndham Clark if he were able to pull off the U.S. Open double? Becoming, I believe, the 7th person. Is that right? First since Tiger. It's very rare.
I don't have all 6 off the top of my head, but that sounds right.
Yeah, I don't know. It would kind of be like when Padraig went on that heater.
That's a good comp.
And everybody's just kind of like,
whoa,
man, that's
wild. Gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, you don't really know how to contextualize it, or it's just like, yo, that's happening. That's wild, man.
That was sick.
Yeah.
All right, couple more. This is a good one. This was in reference to his major exemption running out at the end of next year. Quote, world ranking is a messed up system, as everyone knows. I don't even look at the world ranking system. I just really go out and try to play well and see what happens.
Phil?
No.
No,
Get weirder.
No, he would have one for longer.
Get further out there. He also went to Wimbledon with his daughter, which was a shocker to me.
Stu?
Stenson?
P.
P.
Maybe the days of P's majors, maybe maybe dwindling. Just something to watch. Who knows what's going to happen if the players get folded back together. He played great. So it was the highest he could have shot. He just really could have taken a scary low today. All right, let's do one more. Which one? I got two from this guy. Which one should I pick? All right, let's go with this one. All I want to do is keep working hard, keep playing, keep putting myself in position. Obviously, it's going to be my turn soon.
Obviously.
I thought this was a layup, guys. I was trying to end with a bang. Tommy. All kinds of work, all kinds of physical work he's doing. I think it is, TC. We've had a lot of fun on this here program at your boy's expense, but I think it is. I don't know if you have any context, but he does seem like he's working his ass off behind the scenes in order to get it across the finish line. And sincerely, I really hope he does this week.
I was talking to a couple of guys. They said he's been working like crazy on his lower body strength, his core strength. I'm sure he's been working like crazy on his putting, like, turning those weaknesses into strength. I don't know, man. Like even some of the stuff they post, I just love watching the guy hit irons. And I think this, you drive it okay, you can kind of get it out there off the tee and then hit good irons in. And I didn't feel like he played gimmicky or anything like that today. Like I feel like he's going to keep ascending through the next few days, and his fitness level's good. I'm stoked, man.
TC, you want to take us down the leaderboard before we get out of here?
God, I thought you'd never ask.
And I also would like, if you don't mind, just a quick, maybe give us, like, as always, we're going to require you to give some context, at least a sentence about each of these names that you read. I also want to know, you said this a number of times today. I want to know who, quote, has that look in their eye. If you could point out those people for us as well.
Yeah. I think Tommy's got that look in his eye. I think the pro Max Holman's got that look in his eye. I tried to warn everybody. I was like Paul Revere trying to warn everybody and it's out of my horse. And, like I said, it looks like he's trending. It looks like he's in a good spot. He's finally figured out the recipe for one of these majors. I'm buying on that Matthew Jordan character.
How cool was that story?
Awesome. Going out first
guy,
in the open at the place you grew up playing where you remember. That's awesome. Yeah. Like, in a world of Michael Block bullshit, this is something that actually resonates for me.
What a stray. He kind of had that look in his eye too, first thing out.
He did. I don't know. I'm buying it. I think it continues. So
that was
did you guys hear that one?
Blue Angel. Yeah.
Jesus, man.
This brings me no pleasure, but I think Patrick Cantlay might have that look in his eye this week. Kind of a concerningly solid start.
Aren't the Condittis supposed to arrive tomorrow?
I don't think they're going to be crazy. I think it's going to be a little bit friskier in the morning than it was this afternoon, and maybe a little bit of rain and stuff, and then it kind of burns off. But I don't know. It's I know there's a lot swirling with David Solomon maybe losing control of Goldman Sachs here, and some personal things going on with Cantlay. But I just I feel like he's kind of steadying the ship. I think Brooks is lurking. -1. I think he might have that look in his eye too. He was kind of playful with the media afterwards today. But yeah, those are the guys that I think have, and then Blandy, of course. Blandy coming in under par today. Fantastic. Amazing. And actually, last guy with that look in his eye, Hovland. I thought that was a really, really invigorating round from Hovland. He was even through 7, bogeys 8, bogeys 10, and then comes in 3 under in his last 8 holes to come in 1 under par. I thought that was a very solid round. A bird defecated on him.
Supposed to be good luck,
which is great luck. I was going to say.
I was hoping it would force him to take his pullover off.
Dude, he had the people frothing to see that shirt that was all over social media, and he covered it up.
Yeah. So, and then I'm told Ludwig has that look in his eye, but he's not in the field this week.
All right. Anybody else? We want to go down the leaderboard and shout out here.
Yeah, down the leaderboard. Shout out to Michael Stewart. I've never heard of you. I'm not familiar with your game. T7.
Yeah.
Shabankar Sharma. Haven't heard that name in a while.
Bit of a throwback.
T7 as well. Siwoo Kim had that fire sweater on today. Very solid. Keeping going down. I think Thomas Peters got off to his normal like crazy hot start, and then like he eagled 15. I think he was 4 under after that, and then promptly doubles the next hole, and then bogeys 18 to kind of come back to the field a little bit. So keen to see what Hideki does tomorrow. Hideki's 1 under right now.
Forgotten man.
Kind of lurking a little bit.
There's a bunch of lurkers at 1 under.
Yeah.
Some bad dudes with bad intentions.
David Lingmerth, Keegan Bradley, Sung J M, things of that nature.
Exactly.
What else we got?
How about Lingmerth?
Yeah, a great round. He's playing good golf right now.
He is. Played his way in.
You want to talk about somebody who's kind of bet on themselves and gotten back from the brink and gotten healthy, and it's cool to see. It's kind of a tale of two Højgaards. I was
best of times, worst of times,
Rasmus.
DC.
Nikolai played well, so hand up there. Minwoo Lee, keen to see if he can put a good one out there tomorrow. He's off early.
Can we shout out? I know I'm last to this party, but just gotta shout out what Minwoo Lee's doing on Instagram. I think some of the best hype reels. All of these hype reels are so fucking lame usually, and it's just cool shots of look at how cool I am during my practice round. The Minwoo Lee ones are so good and so funny. They always have like weird ass references in them. And this week he's got a bunch of like, when you get like the British hip hop where they like don't swear and they just pronounce everything like super cleanly. He's got a bunch of those underneath all the footage. So good. Keep it up, Minwoo Lee. I absolutely love it.
He had the Rashi on today. It looked awesome.
God, I want him to be a world beater so bad.
Yeah.
I think you want to talk about growing the game, Randy. That's gonna get the people turned up.
We got a bunch of guys at +1 as well. We got right in a row here. Fitzpatrick, I'm not worried about him. He's by his own admission, he's not a links guy. Jason Day, Adam Scott, Cam Smith, Shane Lowry, Ricky Fowler, Cam Young, all right in a row there.
And Moronk, interesting for our 1-on-1 bet.
Yeah, and Kaye Samoya as well. No, but I think I don't know. I'm very, very keen to see what Cam does tomorrow. He'll be off in the afternoon, 3 p.m. or 2:59. Didn't drive it well today. That was kind of my concern with him here this week. Putted, kind of did everything else well.
Yeah.
Rolled the rock, great.
Some context for everybody at +1 or worse. Our guy Jay Ray says 96% of Open champions since 1970 have been within 5 shots of the lead after round 1.
It's a pretty high number.
50 of 52.
And I think we're gonna get some crazy conditties on Sunday, but you're gonna have to be, up in the mix. I don't think it's gonna be kind of a chaser's day on Sunday. Adam Scott had a pretty good round going today too, and completely limped home on 16 and 18. Was 3 over in the last 3 there. So a little bit disappointing there. And then I think going to the guys that kind of disappointed us, I think that's kind of the Mendoza line, right? If you played +1, we'll see what happens. We're not ready to cast judgment yet, but +2, like, all right, that's a disappointment. Really not a whole lot until we get to, like, Sam Burns. I'm trying to think. I thought Corey Connors was going to play better. Big Tone.
Over.
Yeah, and then Morikawa, Rom, Gooch, your boy Randy, and then that kind of aforementioned group at +3 as well. So Tom Kim, things of that nature.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
+5.
Kind of interesting. Randy, your guy Phil tied with John Daly at +6.
And your guy Foxy, who you said that
Foxy's at +7.
Sorry. You said the Moronk versus Fox bet was unfair to me, which we got that on the record, TC.
That's for what, the rest of the season or
no?
That was just this week. I had a feeling.
Okay.
Such a fun vintage Phil Open Championship ending too. Doubled 17, tripled 18. Just chef's kiss, big boy.
17's sick. I don't know if I even respect it, but I like it. It's kind of the opposite of the normal, like, I don't like it, but I respect it. I think I like it, but I don't even respect it.
Yeah, I think maybe we save the full on 17 conversation for tomorrow.
And just course in general.
I'm just hoping it ruins somebody's career. I
God, that was such. Pete Cowan said that. I believe it. I'm taking it out of context. It was referenced somewhere else. Or it was referenced in the Brooks transcript. Somebody asked Brooks about that, but they said, "How do you feel about Pete Cowan saying that 17 could ruin somebody's career?" Which is such a sick quote.
Last thing, just disappointed in Joaquin Neiman, disappointed in Saha.
Yeah, again with Joaquin.
Joaquin said dominate, and he's not doing it.
We ain't doing it.
That's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting career to follow, man. Just again, from a buy low, sell high perspective. I think I would have bought a ton of Joaquin stock when he won Riviera. What was that, last year? And that stock has not done well.
Yeah, it's tough. Sammy Valimaki, my guy, +5 as well. So
I hate that. That's gonna hurt his Ryder Cup chances.
Hate it. What do you guys? All right, how far back is too far back?
I mean, according to Jay Ray, +1.
Yeah, but crazy shit can happen.
Sure.
I feel a little uncomfortable playing that game after round 1. I don't want to non-answer it, but it's tough. I think we got to do late, early, late, all that fun stuff.
I just don't know how gettable this golf course is. I know there were 66s out there today, but man, it just doesn't. Other than the par 5s, there's just not that many birdie chances, man. I know a lot of guys made birdie on 17 today, but I think maybe that was because the wind wasn't up, and it just, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it changes if we get some rain and it softens up a little bit. But it just seemed like there were a lot of tuck pins and a lot of pins that were just really hard to get close to today.
You guys buying or selling Rory?
I'm buying. Fool me 55 times. Shame on me. But what I'm gonna attribute it to is a lot of talk about the crosswinds. A lot of those winds blowing left to right on especially that closing stretch, basically like favoring someone that can hit a high draw up against that wind. Seems like it's gonna be a lot better than somebody who's hitting a cut trying to just like let the wind beat their ball up on that back nine.
He had some high right misses early on in that round today, though.
Yeah,
he was a little flatulent.
Weird clubs, weird misses. Certainly, yeah.
Bad wedges, some bad decisions. I don't know. It just doesn't feel tidy enough.
Showed a little gut.
Yeah.
Getting into the house, could have been a +2, +3 day. And he kept it on the rails, but yeah, was it perfect, TC? No, wasn't perfect.
Something else that wasn't perfect.
Also, you guaranteed Rory victory this week, which you continue to forget.
I didn't guarantee it. I said that if Tommy doesn't win
for months,
Rory
just wait till we
win.
get the Hoylake. Well, I think Rory's going to win Hoylake.
I said he's going to play well. Yeah, but I said Tommy's also going to win Hoylake. So
exactly, that was the joke.
If Tommy doesn't win, you can get at me for the Rory take. If Tommy wins, then all of you guys need to
it's
bow
negated.
down.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. What else we got to get to?
Well, speaking of not positive stuff, the telecast was tough.
Yeah, listen, I think today, for the first time in my Open Championship viewing experience, I've always been a big get up at 4, do the whole thing, get on Twitter, and I think today it was again, fool me 55 times, but I was I think I know how this is gonna go. I think I'm gonna sleep in. I got up at 5. 6 Eastern, and just DVR'd the whole thing, and it took me until probably 9:30 to actually catch up on DVR, and so it didn't really bother me that much. Was it shitty that they didn't show the Ricky stuff? Yes, that was awful. Was it shitty that Jordan Spieth is 1 back, 2 back, and they didn't explain why he was hitting his third shot from 190 yards into 18? That wasn't great. Playing through was abused per usual. Just a lot of attempts to ruin my favorite tournament of the year, but I'm not gonna let them do it. TC, I'm not gonna let them steal my joy.
It's one of those things too. If Comcast wants to not send a full crew over or not have their own cameras, and then we get associate producers or people who work for Golf Channel, then you can flash that Twitter thing. This guy works with or for Golf Channel NBC. And this was in response to Solly tweeting about Spieth, and and it's they treat their viewers with contempt, and why are you relying on the world feed? Because your company's too cheap to send cameras and have your own feed for all or part of the day. And when ESPN used to do that, and like, if you're going to invest in golf and produce this stuff, invest in golf and produce it. Otherwise, get the fuck out. That as simple as that. It's disgusting.
Randy, any takes on the broadcast today?
No, those are all my feelings. We've been saying it all year. I was like you, candidly, DJ, was watching a lot on DVR when I first got up, so wasn't as angry necessarily, but TC, I feel your anger. I've been there many times myself, brother.
We stand with the strength, TC.
And the thing, like, the most frustrating part is, like, you got this knucklehead on here trying to make excuses per usual and just talk down to everybody when, like, cool, man, like, we're just telling you, like, it's not good. Like, we're not having a good time here. And Comcast owns Sky, right? Like, why can't they just, like, cool, if you guys don't want to invest and do this thing right, just give us the Sky feed. Like, we'll gladly take that as a coherent product. Okay. But, like, don't tell me that, oh, we're being too hard on you or whatever. We're positive when it warrants it. I thought they did a great job with the US Women's Open, and we said as much,
Sure.
I don't know. I won't tell the Tommy Roy story tonight. We'll save that for
No, we
later
gotta
tonight.
save that. You gotta keister that.
But I don't know. It's just such an outright contempt. These people they're arrogant. They're conceited. They're resting on their laurels. It's like, hey, we've been doing this for a long time. Just trust us. Well, you know what? That trust is evaporated. You guys are pissing on the game that we all love. I'll cede the rest of my time back to the committee.
Thank you, TC. What about China is my question that I want to bring up. I got nothing else, guys. Anything else we want to get to? I thought it was an absolutely delightful day at the Open. I am in love with Hoylake. I think the leaderboard is, you can see, like, how it's going to take shape.
There's good ingredients there.
Yes, not to take anything away from the people that are near the top right now, but I think we're going to see some leaderboard gravity in a big way, and I think it's going to be a fantastic weekend.
Deej, I would equate today to like a quick fire challenge.
Yeah, that's great.
Top Chef.
I think that's exactly right.
We've got an elimination challenge tomorrow.
That's right.
Okay.
I think that's right.
And,
some of you, half you guys are going to be packing your knives and going tomorrow.
Exactly.
God, did we even talk about the fact that Top Chef's coming to Wisconsin?
No.
TC, we need to try to get a seating at the Resto Wars. Yeah. We'll take that offline.
Talk to the magical elves.
Randy, what time are you getting up tomorrow? What time can we expect you in the office?
Yeah, I'll probably get up around 8:00 Mountain Time, 10 Eastern. Might take a look at the leaderboard before I decide whether or not to dive in on the DVR recording. I am very
you bombed tonight.
I am very excited to see how Tommy responds, sitting on a share of the lead. I can't wait to watch Jordan tomorrow. So there are definitely some things I'm very excited to watch in the afternoon wave tomorrow. I think it'll be a fun day.
Could be an epic afternoon.
Are you guys rooting for Tommy?
Of course.
I'm rooting for Tommy. Yes, I'm rooting for Tommy to stay in it.
It was never even about Tommy, to be honest.
Yes.
Like, if you don't get that by now, then there's no helping you, TC.
No, I know, but, like, do you want to see me unhappy?
I want to see him win more than I want to see you unhappy.
Okay. All right.
So I'm rooting for him. But it's close.
I'm kind of rooting for him like I used to root for Ricky. Like, I want you to be so close, man, on Sunday. And if you come up short, I won't hate it.
It's if you're in it, then it's a W for me, basically. That's all I'm looking for. No, I think Tommy, dude, I think he deserves to win one. I think it'd be an amazing story for the fine people of England. I think it'd be a fitting champion. I would be so for it. I'm rooting for it. But if he gets close and doesn't get it done, then I think that's a W for me as well. So I kind of can't lose after a day like today.
Listen,
boys,
we all just want to believe in something.
That's exactly right. Enjoyed chopping it up. Thanks to Neil and KVV for swinging by. We'll run it back again tomorrow. Thanks to High Noon. Thanks to DraftKings. Thanks to Precision Pro.
Ben Hameen, great job on the ones and twos.
Ben Hameen on the ones and twos. Yeah, guys, enjoy. TC, try to get some sleep tonight, man.
I know. I will. I'm gonna try to sleep in. I might take some some NyQuil, maybe some
Just self-medicating.
yeah. I think I am gonna book a flight. I'm gonna book a refundable fare.
That's
And,
interesting.
well, I mean, if he
Yeah.
if he collapses tomorrow or something, I don't want to have
Sure.
some sort of lemon here.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
Be fighting with the airline for a refund or like a credit versus a refund.
Just see if you can swing through New York and pick up KVV's bag. We will. All right, guys. Let's cut it. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, and cheers. Crack on. We'll see you for round 2.
Smash that like button.